So here's a rundown of my crazy abuse story. When I was 21, I met another person in university. We were both queer, and this is the first person I had dated seriously. So I didn't really have any prior dating experience really to speak of. I had kind of dated one guy in 9th grade, but there wasn't actually a whole lot of experience there. My partner broke the news to me pretty early on in our relationship that they were chronically ill, which should not be a red flag to just anybody. I'm not saying that if somebody is chronically ill, you need to watch out. Please don't misunderstand that. This person did a Munchausen, which is not normal. not how it normally goes. But they informed me on the 3rd or 4th date that they had a gastric disease that altered their diet and limited the things that they could do. Of course, I didn't want to break up with them just because they were sick. I felt like that would make me a massive asshole. Pardon my language if that's bad. So I said, we'll work through this. It's okay. And then we cried about him not being able to eat broccoli anymore. Because we both really loved broccoli. And our relationship continued. By 9 or 10 months of dating, we had moved in with each other. And at that point, he managed to isolate me from my friends by manufacturing some strange fights in between himself, myself, and my friend that I had foolishly convinced to move in with us. And it got to the point that within a month of us all moving in together, my friend moved out and I lost all of my friendships because I stayed with my partner instead of siding with my friend, and I regret that so much. And then it was just the two of us. And about 8 months later, he convinces us to break our lease and move 2 states away so that he can get higher quality medical care in Washington. And so we move. I become the sole breadwinner with no friends or family around me. Well, technically we did move back to some friends, but they were kind of his friends first. And I always felt that. Even though they tried their best to ensure that I was a full friend. But he had successfully isolated me within 18 months of us starting dating. I no longer had close contact with any friends or family. He forbade me from telling my mom and my maternal grandmother or anybody else our address because he thought that they would tell my father and he would come and break into our house, which they never would have told him. I eventually broke down and told my family my address. That was a big fight we had. But he tried very, very hard to make it so that they didn't know my address, which is very dangerous. He was the only person to work, and he started financially abusing me. It came to the point where he started having some frankly ridiculous excuses as to why he couldn't go back to work. He claimed he needed to be able to successfully volunteer for 2 4-hour shifts in a day, 3 days a week, and make it to the gym in order to prove to an employer that he could do work. So therefore, he couldn't just apply for a job and get a job, which he did eventually do at the very end. It came to the point where he, with the assistance of his mother, convinced me that he had to wait to go back to work for 6 months plus, over 6 months, because he was going to have an elective surgery in a minimum of 6 months to 1 year, and it would be very difficult for him to get a job because he has a surgery planned. As if pregnant women don't do that every goddamn day. So he managed to get priority treatment, always got shotgun in vehicles, or was the driver, so that he could have control. He got best food. He always decided where we went and did things. If he was done suddenly doing something, we were all done and went home at his whim. All of this preferential treatment, not having to work. He got food bought for him by our friends, video games, clothes. He had favors done to him. He was coddled, pampered for 6 straight years. And it was all fake. He finally admitted, as we were breaking up the last month, that he had exaggerated being ill. And it was all not necessary. And he said that with just the coldest look on his face. And also just kind of this anticipatory glee in his eyes, that he was waiting for the pain to cross my face so he could see just how much it hurt me that he had faked all of that illness for 6-7 years. Mind you, while I was going through my own shit and my own mental health crises, I had to put all of that aside and help him deal with his non-existent disease. And I had to be the one to buckle down and work, sometimes 55-hour weeks, so he could watch TV and do crafts all day. This lasted for 7 fucking years. Trust your gut. I didn't trust my gut for the longest time. I explained away so many behaviors and so many things that didn't make sense because I couldn't comprehend that my partner would lie about the fact that he was ill. I didn't think that my partner would lie and betray me to that degree. But he did. So listen to your gut.